Thanks for clicking onto this video and welcome back to AR Football. Today, we're going to talk about why Argentina are the favourites to win the World Cup. Okay, maybe why Brazil are the favourites to win the World Cup? Maybe Germany? Okay, definitely France, right? What the hell just happened? Initially, my plan was to make a video talking about the favourites to win the World Cup, but clearly nothing seems to be going as expected. We've just witnessed one of the most exciting group stages in World Cup history. There was not a single team that managed to win all three of their matches in their group, and only 3 teams managed to qualify for the next stage of the competition before the final match day. The mighty Germans got knocked out of the tournament for the second time in a row, and guess who topped their group? Japan! Yes, it's finally happening! The Blue Lock project is real! Well, that was good while it lasted, but still, Japan managed to top a group that consisted of Spain, Germany and Costa Rica. I'm pretty sure that's the first time an Asian team has managed to top their group in the World Cup. But they weren't the only Asians to shock the world. South Korea and Australia also managed to qualify to the next stage of the competition, making this the first time that 3 Asian teams have made it past the group stages of the World Cup. But none of these Asian teams managed to have the impact that Saudi Arabia had when they defeated Argentina in their opening game. That sent shockwaves throughout the footballing world as Argentina entered the World Cup on a 36-game unbeaten streak. Well, Saudi ended up finishing last in their group, but regardless, they put on one hell of a showing. Moving on to another continent, this World Cup marked the first time that an African team managed to top their group. And it wasn't Ghana or Senegal, but Morocco of all teams. They topped a group that consisted of Croatia and Belgium. In my opinion, the real finals of the 2018 World Cup took place in the semi-finals between Belgium and France. But now 4 years down the line, Belgium haven't even qualified to the round of 16. Why has all of this happened? And why are all the major media journalists just talking about the effect and not the actual cause of the effect? Well, I decided to take it on myself to come up with an answer for all this madness. Ever since Qatar was selected to host the World Cup, every single Western media outlet has trashed and berated this decision. I'm not going to dwell too deep into the politics of this World Cup. Yet, I am annoyed with the fact that this has taken the majority of the spotlight and completely overshadowed a much larger talking point of this World Cup. And what's that? Well, I believe that this might just be the hardest World Cup in modern football history. Why? Well, obviously because there's no alcohol. I'm just kidding. The most obvious reason is the timing of this World Cup. When Qatar initially made their bid to host the tournament, they stated that they would provide air conditioning in the stadiums to combat the summer and make sure that the World Cup happens when it usually does. That is, the break before football season actually starts. But due to whatever reason, that plan's been thrown in the bin and they've decided to host it right in the middle of the football season. Now, preparation is key for any sportsman in any field. And due to the competition taking place through November and December, players have had a very difficult experience so far. Sadio Mane, Karim Benzema, Diogo Jota, Reece James, Paul Pogba, Christopher Nkunku, and the list goes on and on. All of these players have either sustained an injury before the start of the World Cup or during the pre-tournament training sessions with their national teams. This is truly heartbreaking, and all of it boils down to the level of fatigue in these players. Usually, you'd have at least a month or 2 for preparation, both physically and mentally, for a tournament of this magnitude. But that's just been completely disregarded in this situation. And this has led to several injuries to key starting players for several teams. This delayed start to the World Cup has also caused another issue: chemistry. Now we know that FIFA prioritizes club football over international football because frankly, that's where the money is. But usually, players have a month or 2 to get into the flow of playing together. But this time around, forget 2 months, they've barely had 2 weeks of training before the start of the World Cup. I do believe that this affected most of the teams during the group stages. But as shown in the round of 16, it's not a problem anymore, as the favourites pretty much cruised past their opposition to the quarterfinals. Well, at least most of the favourites.
Hey, my friend! Good luck! You are good team, huh? This? Airport! This way!
But to be honest, I kind of saw this coming. I don't understand how people had Spain as a contender when most of the players play in the Europa League. What's the point of having over 900 passes in a game when your expected goals rating is only 1.01? They just kept passing the ball around without really doing anything with it.
Here you go. What are you doing? Come on! Stop that double teaming me! Bro, stop laying down!
Guess that's what happens when you leave Ramos out of the squad. Moving on though, another reason could be the drastic change in weather compared to Europe. Qatar has done a pretty good job with providing air conditioning inside the stadiums, but some players have still found it very difficult to adapt to these conditions. Anthony has stated that he got sick because of these air conditioners, so are they really helping or not? This could be why we saw Saudi Arabia beating Argentina in their first game, and maybe why Morocco have gone to the quarterfinals. Now, I'm not trying to take away anything from these teams. They've surpassed everyone's expectations of them going into the World Cup. And this brings us into our final point. The rest of the world is catching up. Our expectations are no longer up to date. For years now, the US, China, and more recently Saudi Arabia have started to fund huge development projects revolving around football. This, combined with the rise of Asian teams, has reduced the gap between these lesser known teams and the footballing giants of the world. Gone are the days where the Europeans or the South Americans walked into every game as the favourites. Times are changing, and these African, Asian, and North American teams are slowly but definitely catching up. I'll be making a video in the future explaining in detail about the rise of Asian teams. So please like and subscribe to my channel if you found this video interesting. And if you want to know the real reason why Cristiano Ronaldo left Manchester United, please click on the link shown on the screen. Until next time.